Hi, everyone. Thanks for jumping on today.
Hi.
Hello.
Tioni, especially thank you to you. I know it's your work from home day today as part of your flexible working arrangement. So, yeah, appreciate you making the time. Thank you. So, as part of our ongoing commitment to providing accessible cinema experiences for our customers, you'd be aware that we're implementing a best practice guide for accessible cinema technology. So that guide has been developed to enhance our existing procedures related to the storage and maintenance of our accessible cinema technology, but also to really increase our team's confidence to assist our customers when they have a hearing or vision impairment. So we'll go through the accessible cinema technology best practice guide today. And as you know, you are the trial location, so thank you for taking that on ahead of the national implementation. And so the guide's designed to support, a consistent, confident, and inclusive customer experience. So does that context and intent kind of make sense before we go any further?
Yeah. So framing it around the accessibility and confidence makes the purpose really clear.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it also helps position it as an enhancement, not just a change for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And from a technical perspective, consistency will really help.
Awesome. Great. So we really want to position this to our team as a really simple, easy to follow guide that's there to support them and not overwhelm them. So the guide is not designed to change what we're already doing. It's just to enhance it. So it brings together existing expectations, provides clear best practice examples, and supported by the standard operating procedure, posters, talking notes, registers, and on-the-job training. So the team aren't expected to remember everything. They're expected to use the resources that we're giving them. So do you have any questions on that before we go further?
No, all good from my perspective.
Yep, all clear. Thank you.
I'm good too, thanks.
Great. Awesome. So the only other thing I just want to cover before we really get stuck into it is it's really important how we communicate the guide, not just what's in it. So when we roll this out, we need to make sure that we're doing it in a way that's respectful, inclusive, and being mindful that, people learn and understand information differently. Some team members will be confident with this straight away. Others may need time, repetition, hands-on coaching, and that's okay. So the expectation is that questions are welcome. Feedback that we get from our team members and our customers is received openly, and no one feels uncomfortable asking for help. We need to be clear with our expectations. When expectations aren't clear or support isn't consistent, that's when, we start to see things like the technology not being available or operational when it's needed. Our team members avoiding assisting customers because they don't feel quite safe to do so. And customers ultimately that have accessibility requirements, will get an inconsistent or lesser experience. So that's why clarity, consistency, and confidence are going to be so important in this rollout. So as leaders, it's not just about delivering the message, it's about creating a safe, supportive environment for our teams to use it. So before we get into the guide, I just also want to just confirm what everyone's role is throughout this process. We kind of all have an important part to play here. So in my role, I need to make sure that I communicate the best practice guide to you to ensure that you our leaders at our trial location are aligned before we start to cascade the information to our team. And also to set the expectation that, we want feedback and it's received warmly and considered openly. So any questions on, I guess, my role, T?
Not from me. I think the accountability is really clear.
Yeah. Okay, great. So T, for you as the general manager, you're accountable for ensuring the guides rolled out effectively at your location. So this will include communicating the guide to our duty managers, ensuring our relevant team members are briefed, trained, and supported, reinforcing really that accessibility matters, and that at EVT everyone belongs, our team members and our customers. Encouraging and receiving feedback openly, and ensuring the acknowledgement of understanding is completed after the training so that we know our team members are acknowledging that they're across what they need to be across. Mm-hmm. So this will be done through verbal briefings and written follow-up. So how does that land for you operationally, T?
Yeah, it's really clear. So for me, I lead from the front, so I'll reinforce it through coaching. It won't just be an email sent out, just, with the expectation to read and know what they're doing. So they'll get some coaching around this.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think leadership presence that you just spoke to will make the difference here. So yeah, that's awesome. So Jess, your role is focused on frontline execution. So you'll be responsible for, I guess, communicating information to our supervisors and our team members on the front line. We really want you to support the supervisors with shift briefings and coaching, making sure the briefings are happening consistently, especially early on in the process. And observing how the guide lands on the floor, and kind of really collecting feedback themes. So what do you think the teams will need the most support with initially?
I think it will be around confidence in understanding and explaining the devices, especially when approaching the one that they've selected and knowing it's right for the customer.
Yeah, perfect. And I think that's exactly what the guide and posters are designed to support. So, if there's any changes or enhancements that you think we can make to those guides, just let us know. And then, so Renee, your role really underpins the success of this rollout. So you'll be responsible for supporting Tioni with the initial implementation, ensuring that the correct storage and ongoing maintenance is occurring, supporting Jess as she cascades the information, and providing guidance on, charging, FIFO of the devices, batteries, and best escalation kind of methods. So what's the key message that I guess you would want the teams to remember as we roll this out?
I think it's really the early escalation. If something's not right, raise it early so it doesn't impact multiple customers. Let's get on top of it straight away.
Yeah, awesome. Totally agree. Yeah. Okay, so now we will go through the guide. I emailed you the guide earlier. Everyone has the guide? Yep. Okay, awesome. Some of you might have printed it out to make written notes. Some might prefer to follow along on your screen, whatever works for you. Okay, so section 1, setup and storage. So the really important principle here is, centralized accessible storage. We want them stored back a house so that they're secured, but we want them wall mounted in one central location and close to a power source. And what's really important is they should be accessible without duty manager assistance, so that if a customer needs them, we can access them really quickly for them. So Tioni, does your current setup align with that?
We'll need to relocate some devices out of projection, but it's manageable and I've got a great space and it makes sense. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. So the next section is, this section also talks to battery storage, disposal, the charging protocol poster, and that FIFO principle that we talked about, the first in, first out, to make sure that the devices that are going out are the ones that have the maximum charge. So this section also covers like the types of batteries you'll need and, links to where you can purchase those.
That's great. The FIFO will also really help protect the battery life.
Yeah, awesome. Great. And then so sections 2 to 4, so section 2 will cover the equipment station poster, reinforcing our service standards. Section 3 is the cinema number matrix. So this shows which cinemas support what technology, and this has been designed with the help of the technical team. So thank you, Renee. Section 4 is the device register. So that supports accountability, but without retaining customer identification, which is a change in our process. So supporting materials, we've touched on a few of them, but just to kind of list them out for you again. The best practice guide, that's the key resource. The SOP with an acknowledgement of understanding. Talking notes to help deliver the message to our teams across all levels of the business. And those notes have been tailored to different levels of the business. Posters for the equipment station, charging protocols, and the cinema matrix. We've got a device register, and charging and battery protocols. But they'll also have, aside from those kind of printed resources, they'll also have on-the-job coaching, support from our cinema technical team, an opportunity to provide feedback. So that'll be done via SurveyMonkey, and we'll use that feedback to make tweaks before we roll it out wider. So it's certainly not a, like a tick and flick kind of rollout. So any questions on the resources guides? No?
Not so far.
Okay, great. So to recap, this guide supports accessible cinema experiences for all our customers. It's a simple, practical resource. The roles and accountability are clearly defined, but please let me know if you'd like any clarification on any of those. Our teams will be supported with tools, training, and coaching, and it's designed to make their job easier, not harder. We really want their feedback, and that will really help shape what the national rollout looks like. So if our teams pause, check a resource, and ask a question, that's a win. That's success for us. So that's about it. So thanks so much, everyone. The discussion today has been great. Really appreciated how engaged you were. We've gone through a lot of information in a really, kind of short amount of time, and there's a lot to digest. So I'll also share the supporting resources with you via email. I'll then give you some time to review the guide and the resources. I'll set up another call for next week, where we'll do just a final check-in prior to going live at your site. But yeah, if in doubt, please pause, check the guide and ask, and I'm here to help. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
See you later.